Ladies and gentlemen, we had a great show for you tonight. I'm so excited to have Ellie Kemper here. And Kimmy Schmidt, because I believe that she is the ray of sunshine we all need right now. Because it's dark. It's getting a little dark out there. It's getting a storm. And whatever's coming down from those clouds, it's brown for some reason. I'm still recovering, personally.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still recovering from President Trump's kamikaze press conference yesterday, where Donald let Donald be Donald. The consequences and our country be damned. And it was truly one for the ages, specifically 1939 to 1945. Let me just, I have those years, right? 36. Let's just remind ourselves of how we got to wherever we are right now. Last Saturday, which I think was a year ago, something like that, Nazis and the KKK provoked violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. That's what they wanted. That's why they went there. After a Nazi killed a young woman named Heather Heyer, Donald Trump made a statement and improvised during the statement that there was violence on many sides, and people were upset, other than Nazis. Nazis liked it. So Trump's chief of staff, John Kelly, pressed Trump to make another public statement. Grudgingly, Mr. Trump agreed. Okay, I'll say Nazis are bad, but you can't make me mean it, okay? I call. Fingers crossed, okay? I call Nazi backsies. So, on Monday, Donald Trump went to the mic in the White House and read this.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
There you go. Maybe not inspiring or heartfelt, but the right thing to say. And you know it was the right thing to say because he hated saying it. Evidently, Donald Trump fumed to aides about how unfairly he was being treated and expressed sympathy with nonviolent protesters who he said were defending their heritage. So, yesterday afternoon, when he was supposed to be talking about highway infrastructure, Donald Trump drove America's moral leadership right through the guardrails by saying some of the people bearing torches with the Nazis were just good Joes.
Not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch. I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit. I think there's blame on both sides. And I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either.
Oh, Mr. President, there is only one thing I no longer have any doubt about. You showed us who you were. Everywhere in this country. Everywhere in this country, people were horrified. North, South, Republican, Democrat, top, bottom, sweet, sour. But you know who loved what Donald Trump said? Donald Trump. Aides say Trump was in a very good mood after the press conference and felt liberated. Liberated, free, emancipated, if you will. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. You like that? Melania wrote that. She's very good. Now, she did. Now, Trump may have been happy with his performance, but not everyone inside the White House felt the same. In fact, members of the president's staff were stunned and disheartened and said they never expected to hear opinions that the president had long expressed in private. Please, Grandpa, you can't say this stuff out loud in the restaurants, okay? That's fishing boat talk, okay? Out of sight of land, you can speak your mind. I'm sure your nurse took your watch, even though it's on your wrist right now. In the wake of the furor Trump caused by channeling the Fuhrer, The White House was desperate to get Republicans on board the flaming wreckage that was the SS Hindenburg by releasing talking points to Congress such as leaders in the media in our country should join the president in trying to unite and heal our country rather than incite more division. What? No, you can't put that on somebody else. That's the president's job. The pilot can't get on the intercom and say, attention passengers, this is your captain speaking. Now is the time for people in first class and coach to come together in the cockpit and show me what all these little buttons do. Okay? Push this, put this, put that. Oh, okay, hold on. But not every Republican followed the talking points, like Ohio governor and confused dad in the produce aisle, John Kasich.
The president has to totally condemn this. And this is not about winning an argument. This is about the fact that now these folks apparently are going to go other places and they think that they had some sort of a victory. There is no moral equivalency between the KKK, the neo-Nazis, and anybody else.
Oh, hell yes. Kasich 2020, that took balls.
Would you be willing to be the guy who goes around to Republican leaders and said, this is our moment, we will tell this president we no longer support him, period?
Well, Matt, look, he's our president, okay?
I'm sorry. I meant someone took his balls. I apologize. Kasich is not the only profile in thinking about courage here. So far, the GOP's actions have spoken way more flaccid than words. According to aides, despite House Democrats' calls for hearings on the rise of white supremacy, the House Judiciary Committee has no immediate plans to schedule one. Yeah, they don't need to hold hearings. If they want to talk to white supremacists, they can just call the White House switchboard. Hello? Hello? Yes? What's that? We don't have any open Klan members, white supremacists. Is white nationalist okay? I'll connect you through. Of course, thank you. There was one group that really basked in the radioactive glow of the unshielded core of yesterday's Trump dump. Former Klan Imperial Wizard, longtime Trump supporter, and man who really looks better with a hood on, David Duke, who tweeted, "Thank you, President Trump, for your honesty and courage to tell the truth about Charlottesville and condemn the leftist terrorists." Wow. David Duke complimenting your courage. That's like Jeffrey Dahmer complimenting your cooking. He means well, but it's a little upsetting. Trump also garnered praise from white nationalist Adolf hipster Richard Spencer. After Trump's speech, Spencer said he was, quote, really proud of him, tweeting, Trump's statement was fair and down to earth. Yes, down to earth. Because at this point, it's impossible for Donald Trump to sink any lower. We got a great show for you tonight.